Hi students, my name is Charles Mace. I will be the co-lead instructor for this course, Marketing 1890 Career Exploration. I'm excited to talk to you today about why this course matters, what you can expect to do in this course, and ultimately what you're going to get out of it. So let's dive right on in and learn a little bit more about what we'll be doing throughout the semester. So first things first, why does this matter? Why is it important for you to explore the career options? Well, the truth of the matter is the vast majority of us don't know what we're going to do in college. The average college student changes their major 6 times. I am no exception to that. I changed mine 6 times while I was a college student across various disciplines. It was psychology, exercise science, and outdoor recreation. There's a few in the business school. I ended up in entrepreneurship from the Woodbury School of Business. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But it's very common for people to not know. And so understanding what's out there while learning about ourselves is a key part of that process. So hopefully, ultimately, you're going to walk away from this course with a better understanding both of yourself and what's out there and available to you. You'll also see through our guest speaker series and through the stories that we'll share that most people don't end up doing what they expected. We often have a plan and that most often deviates from that because it's really hard to predict what's going to happen. So again, this course is designed in a way to empower you to be adaptable and flexible to whatever opportunities come your way. So let's talk about how this course works. It is a 1-credit course, so there isn't going to be a ton of work. There's not going to be a lot of assignments. But what I do ask you to do is to really invest in the reflection exercises and especially the networking opportunities and the capstone portfolio. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But ultimately, this course is broken down into 3 sections. There is the career identity component where you are learning about yourself. Who are you? What are your skills? What are your strengths? What are the things that make you tick, that interest you? And we're going to expand that through our Gallup StrengthsFinder test and a few other tools to help you get a better understanding of yourself to see what might be some good opportunities for you. Then we're going to move into the career exploration portion where we're exploring what majors are out there, what industries, what professions, what careers are out there. And we'll have a 6-week guest speaker series where professionals from all walks of life are going to be coming to the classroom or through these recordings and sharing their life experience in an interesting and engaging way. And that is really a great opportunity for you to try and project and try to imagine what your life would look like in those roles and how you could uniquely solve those problems. It's a really exciting, really fun section. And then ultimately, we wrap up with career execution and career strategy, which ultimately leads into the follow-up to this course, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, the career execution part is simply making a choice, deciding what you want to try out. Maybe it's an internship, maybe it's a major, maybe it's a certain set of classes and courses. And then we're going to build a capstone portfolio template that you can use throughout the course of your college career. One of the most important aspects of this class is getting connected. The reality is, I'm sure you've heard this cliche before, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I want to extrapolate on why that's an important part of your life here in the university. You have 40,000 professional peers who are going to go out into the world and expand and explore and get promotions and start businesses. There's so many stories you'll hear throughout this course of people who met in college and went on to help each other create amazing lives and careers. Beyond that, you have a bunch of professors who are connected to industry leaders and other professionals that you can meet and connect with now. The truth is 70% to 80% of jobs aren't posted online. So how are you supposed to know when those jobs are available? Well, it's through networking. It's through building and expanding your network. We'll talk more about this in week 4 and 5, but I cannot emphasize enough that whether you're an online student, hybrid student, in person, or any combination, you need to be building a network. It is quite possibly the most important activity you could do in your professional career to predict success and greater opportunities. So there is a networking component in this class. We'll talk more about that later on. I do want to also share a brief anecdote. All right. I am not a conventional student. I was, yep, that's me. That is me. That is real hair. I get that question a lot. That's me on my senior year of high school. And I loved skateboarding, loved video games, still do. Didn't really have much direction. My parents didn't really care about college. I'm first generation, meaning neither of my parents completed college. And I just kind of wandered through life. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of ambition or desire. I just liked having fun. And so that's how my life kind of went immediately after high school. I wandered around for a couple years. It wasn't until I was a little bit older that I really asked myself the question, what do I want to do with my life? It's hard to answer. I knew certain things about myself. I knew I loved making videos. I loved creating. I felt drawn to performance. I'm so envious of the TikTok era because I just would have loved it. I mean, I made hundreds and movies and short bits and comedy skits with my friends, and we had so much fun. And I just didn't know how that could possibly translate into a profession or a career. And I didn't really ever feel like I fit into a traditional mold. So as I got older in my adulthood and decided, you know what, I should go back to college. I should get a degree. I do want to start a career. I came back to UVU. And UVU is a funny story because I didn't have the best grades, didn't have the best credentials or qualifications or whatnot. And even though they are open admission, they said that I needed to go part-time first to prove basically that I could be a student. And they made me take some college success courses, which made me feel very dumb. And again, just for my background and my history, I didn't feel like a smart kid. I did not feel like, I felt like it dumb as rocks, candidly. But those teachers and the leaders and the professionals at UVU completely changed how I viewed myself and how I viewed reality and how I predicted my career would go. You know, I'm a non-traditional student. I went back to college later in my life, yet I started teaching at the university level at 31 years old, which I feel that's a pretty good accomplishment, pretty great achievement. And I think a big reason for it was because there was a mentor who asked me a question while I was a UVU student. He asked me, why not you? And what he meant by that is we always ask ourselves, well, why me? Like, who am I to achieve greatness? He pointed out at the buildings at, Lehigh, the point of the mountain. He said, look at all those tech buildings out there. Look at all these, companies and successful people. What makes them so different from you? Don't ask yourself, who am I to do that? Ask, why not you? We're all basically made up of the same stuff and we all have very comparable opportunities. The question is, why not you? Is there even a real good reason not for you to aspire to something great? To find what makes you happy and strive for it and go for it? There's a lot of this pay your dues mentality that's just quite candidly archaic and outdated and kind of meant to suppress people's dreams and goals. Takes a lot of work and effort, sure, but at the end of the day, it was just a normal person who built Adobe, who, you think about the successful people in your life, there's nothing special or extra remarkable about them. So why not you? And I want you to ask yourself that question. Why not you? So I embodied that question as I went forward in my life, and it's led to a bunch of really great other opportunities. So I came back to college after I graduated from UVU. I went to Arizona State University and got a master's degree in business. And I came back to Utah with my wife and started Utah Marriage and Family Therapy Clinic. I mentioned before that I got a degree in entrepreneurship. I am on my 12th startup right now, which is crazy. The 11th was Utah Marriage and Family Therapy Clinic. It's a mental health clinic that focuses on couples, and we help people make their lives better? Because I ask myself that question. Why can't I help people? Why can't I find a way to use my business skills to provide opportunities? It's really convenient. I married a therapist, but yeah, so putting my tools and resources to good use there. So came back to Utah, as I mentioned, started getting involved at the university again, and through networking and through developing the skills that were inherent to me, that creativity, that problem solving that I mentioned back in high school, by really leaning into those strengths, I was able to gain a competitive advantage against my peers. And this is why, a big reason why I'm here before you, talking to you about career strategy. Even though my path was not conventional, it wasn't corporate based for the most part, I know a lot about this process, both in hiring people for my companies, as well as helping other people explore what makes them happy. So again, question I ask, why not you? So let's get started with these 3 areas that I mentioned. Career identity, we're going to start there with the Gallup Strengths Finder. We're going to execute and explore. We're going to do all that fun stuff. I just want to show you a list of career consultants that we are going to be bringing into this class. Okay, these are bona fide professionals in their industries that we're going to be having come to the classroom, or we're going to have podcast style interviews available to you to learn from them. And these are modern. They aren't just, outdated, retired professionals. These are people who are young professionals in the work, doing it right now. And they're going to share with us what they're seeing and what you can do now to prepare to be successful in each of those industries and to see if they're a right fit for you. One thing that I always talk about in this class is it's just as good to know what you don't want to do as it is to know what you do. So that's going to be part of this process as well. Clearly identifying, hey, that's not for me. That's invaluable information. So we're going to have some experts join us and help us with that process. As I mentioned before, there's going to be a lot of networking. There's going to be a lot of university involvement, ideally. If you're an online student not in the state of Utah, there are other options. Again, we'll talk about that later. But networking absolutely is a core requirement, not just for this class, but for your life. It is invaluable. And again, you'll learn through our guest speaker series because all of them say the same thing. I don't even prompt it. I just say, hey, how has networking impacted your career? That's the question I ask. And almost all of them, all of them are going to tell you it was one of the biggest reasons they are at where they are at. So whether you're an entrepreneur, wanting to do real estate or side businesses or hustles, whether you want to be in finance or marketing, networking is critical. Okay? The other thing we're going to do in this class is create a portfolio template, which you will use throughout your courses. I will go on a huge rant on this in another video, but basically the Capstone portfolio template brings meaning and purpose to each and every one of your classes. It will allow you to use those assignments that feel meaningless in a way that actually bolsters your case for getting hired at a company later on. You might identify these or recognize these other symbols. We've got the Bing Copilot AI and ChatGPT AI. Guys, we're going to use a lot of AI in this class. Microsoft said they will not hire anyone ever again if they don't have some level of AI proficiency. So I'm going to make sure that you leave this course with that certain level of proficiency. We're not going to become super experts. We're not going to learn about language models. We're going to learn how to use this tool in a way that will make your life so much easier. Guys, let me just tell you, I am going to reintroduce the calculator to you. Think about how much easier math is with a calculator. You are going to feel that way about AI by the time you finish this course. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. All right. Make sure that you take the StrengthsFinder Gallup assessment. This is done in week 2, but you should buy the book and get going on it now because sometimes it takes a couple days to get that to you. There are instructions outlining that, but the StrengthsFinder, in my opinion, is the best career-focused personality profile that helps you identify your strengths, but not just like what you're good at. It's more of like how you move through problem solving. It's really an invaluable tool. I've taken it 3 different times, and there has been some variation. Again, we'll talk more about that in future videos. But this is an awesome, awesome tool to help you learn more about why you are good at what you are good at and how you're good at those things. So really, really cool stuff. But ultimately, this class, at the end of the day, is all about you. It's about making your college experience more worth it to you. It's about building a network to help benefit you and those in your circles. It's to help you understand, ultimately, a better idea of what you care about, how you want to obtain the type of success you want in life, and to maximize the opportunities you have while you are in college. So, let's get cracking.